Flipping Out star Jeff Lewis buys an LA estate for $5.92 million. So, the television personality Jeff Lewis has bought himself a new California home shortly after selling his old one. The interior designer showed out slightly more than what he made on his Hollywood Hills home for another Los Angeles property. The star of Bravo's long running Emmy nominated Flipping Out closed Thursday on a Spanish style chateau in LA's Hancock Park neighborhood. Lewis, 52, was represented by Douglas Elliman agent Carrie Berkman Lewis in the purchase, for which he paid 5.92 million, and in February he made 5.2 million selling his custom designed high-tech Hollywood Hills property, the Post reported at the time. So, we're going to be checking out his newly purchased home. So, through an oversized front door, the two-story spread features a skylit grand foyer with a sweeping staircase. The home measures 7,366 square feet and is defined by clean white walls, dark wood floors, and abundant natural light. The living room boasts original wooden beams and stained glass dating to the 1920s, as well as a handcrafted fireplace. There is also a breakfast room in addition to the large kitchen, and the great room leads into the backyard through a pair of double French doors. Now, by the way, one of the reasons why I'm even covering something like this is because what this individual probably did when he bought this property was basically do like an exchange where he basically put the funds that he made from his previous home into this one and then just added some money onto it so that he wouldn't have to pay the taxes of selling that previous home, potentially saving him a lot of money. Like, I mean, a lot of money. So if you want to like get like a bigger home and a bigger home and a bigger home, you could do this like exchange in real estate that would allow you to basically pay or basically put back the taxes that you would actually be responsible for. So the exchange, you could basically buy like a $100,000 property, sell that property, exchange those funds into like a bigger property or an equivalent value property, and keep on going more and more and more and more, and pretty much never pay taxes for the rest of your life in terms of real estate. So let's see, an aerial view of the property, which by the way, I mean, this property looks nice. Not gonna lie. It basically looks like a mansion that belongs on a beach. That's basically what it looks like, right? The only thing is, which I never really understand why people like to spend millions of dollars to have neighbors. I never understood that and never will understand that. So the bedrooms are located on the upper level, but whew, I think what I already like about this property is how spacey it feels. Like where like just it feels like it just has so much space in every room. I like that. It's pretty cool. So the home measures and at 7,366 square feet. I'm guessing this is like the living room. I kind of like that weird couch thing, whatever you would call it. Let's see. Original beams in the living room. Okay, so this is the living room. Yeah, it looks nice. The grand foyer, a tiered terrace on the grounds. Again, it looks pretty nice. An oversized entry door. I'm not gonna lie, if you were to like walk up to this and know that it's your house, I think that'd be pretty cool. Let's see. Upstairs are six bedrooms, including the primary suite, all with in-suite bathrooms as well as an office. Highlights of the landscaped grounds include an al fresco dining area, a pool, hedges around the perimeter for privacy, and a tiered terrace. In contrast to his previous residence, which was pegged as an ultra-private modern masterpiece, his new home has much more of an old school country villa air to it. Seeing as Lewis had added many a personal touch and luxury finish to the Hollywood Hills property during the course of his years there, that the new home may soon also give off a more contemporary vibe. So the news of Lewis's purchase comes on the heels of the announcement that another Lewis show, Amazon Freevee's Hollywood House Lift, has been renewed for a second season. So let's see some of these comments. 6 million to have your neighbors peering into your windows. Like, see, yeah, like this is my thing. Like me personally, I don't like the idea of spending millions of dollars to have neighbors invading my privacy. Like, hey, get away, right? If I'm spending 6 million on property, just get away from me. You know, it's a beautiful spread in LA, very quietly set back in the acreage surrounding this district. Hancock, very nicely appointed. Who cleans this house? Zoila, whatever that is. Who, what TV channel, what TV show? I used to watch this show, and Jeff is so freaking toxic and mean. Is he? I don't know. I would have not purchased the home because it has a blown light bulb in the entrance walkway. Can you imagine that? If you got the money like he does, why not? Yeah. The thing is, I don't even know who this person is like at all. Like, I don't think I've even ever heard of his shows at all either. I just thought the house was honestly pretty interesting. Now, hold on. I want to look up the exchange thing for real estate. I think it's 1030 exchange real estate taxes. See. So from Investopedia. Oh, 1031. Okay, so I got that one off. So how savvy investors use the 1031s to defer capital gains and build wealth. So a 1031 exchange is a swap of one real estate investment property for another that allows capital gains taxes to be deferred. The term, which gets its name from Section 1031 of the Internal Revenue Code (IRC), is bandied about by real estate agents, title companies, investors, and more, and some people even insist on making it into a verb as in, let's 1031 that building for another. IRC Section 1031 has many moving parts that real estate investors must understand before attempting its use. An exchange can only be made with like-kind properties, and Internal Revenue Service (IRS) rules limits its use with vacation properties. There are also tax implications in time frames that may be problematic. So if you are considering a 1031 exchange or are just curious, here is what you should know about the rules. So here's the thing, and this is why I wanted to cover this as well. A 1031 exchange is a tax break. You can sell a property held for business or investment purposes and swap it for a new one that you purchased for the same purpose, allowing you to defer capital gains tax on the sale. Proceeds from the sale must be held in escrow by a third party, then used to buy the new property. You cannot receive them even temporarily. So what this means is that you can't just basically be like, okay, like you sell the house, all that money, let's just say like 5 something million, goes into your bank account, and then you immediately use that 5 million into buying another property. You can't do that. Like you literally cannot physically touch that property or receive that. Well, you can't take that money or receive that money in any shape or form. You yourself, you cannot do that. So the properties being exchanged must be considered like kind in the eyes of the IRS for capital gains taxes to be deferred. And if used correctly, there is no limit on how frequently you can do 1031 exchanges. The rules can apply to a former principal residence under very specific conditions, right? So what is section 1031? Broadly stated, a 1031 exchange, also called a like-kind exchange or a Starker exchange, is a swap of one investment property for another. Most swaps are taxable as sales, although if yours meets the requirement of 1031, you will either have no tax or limited tax due at the time of the exchange. In effect, you can change the form of your investment without, as the IRS sees it, cashing out or recognizing a capital gain. That allows your investment to continue to grow, tax deferred. There's no limit on how frequently you can do a 1031 exchange. You can roll over the gain from one piece of investment in real estate to another and another and another. Although you may have a profit on each swap, you avoid paying tax until you sell for cash many years later. If it works out as planned, you'll pay only one tax at a long-term capital gains rate, currently 15% or 20% depending on income, and 0% for some lower income taxpayers as of 2022. And to qualify, most exchanges must merely be of like kind. And enigmatic phrase that doesn't mean what you think it means. You can exchange an apartment building for raw land or a ranch for a strip mall. The rules are surprisingly liberal. You can even exchange one business for another, but there are traps for the unwary. The 1031 provisions is for investment in business property, though the rules can apply to a former principal residence under certain conditions. There are also ways that you can use 1031 for swapping vacations homes. More on that later, but this loophole is much narrower than it used to be. And also, both properties must be located in the United States to qualify for this 1031 exchange. But yeah, if you want to get more of this information, just go to investopedia.com and just search for 1031 exchange. But I just wanted to basically explain to you, like, hey, like, you could end up doing something like this to potentially not really pay taxes. So, just something to keep in mind, right? Yeah.